When it premiered on ABC in September of 1993, NYPD Blue made television history with its gritty portrayal of the exploits of Manhattan's 15th Police Precinct. Using documentary-style camera work and a healthy dose of PG-13 material, creators Stephen Bochco and David Milch ushered network television into a bold new era of creative storytelling. During its 12-season run, the show formed a solid ensemble of talented actors, many of whom got their big break on the critically acclaimed series. Let's look back at some of the most notable NYPD Blue cast members and discover what they've been up to since turning in their badges. David Caruso. Prior to busting perps as Detective John Kelly, David Caruso had a solid career from playing a cop in Rambo: First Blood to playing a gang leader in Bochco's groundbreaking series Hill Street Blues. The success of NYPD Blue launched Caruso onto the A-list, and he famously left the show after the first season to star in forgettable films like Kiss of Death, which pretty much described Caruso's attempts at big screen stardom. Caruso revitalized his career by returning to TV for 10 seasons of CSI Miami. As Lieutenant Horatio Kane, his penchant for puns and dark sunglasses achieved pretty epic meme status.
Friend said she came down to drink mojitos and catch some sun.
Well, it looks like something caught her.
Caruso has kept a low profile since CSI Miami ended in 2012. Stephen Bochco later opened up about his tumultuous working relationship with Caruso, calling the star's behavior on the NYPD Blue set cancerous and alleging he had outrageous demands like $100,000 per episode and a 38-foot trailer. Dennis Franz. Though he's forever associated with cantankerous, recovering alcoholic detective Andy Sipowicz, Franz previously played the equally irritable Lieutenant Norman Bunce on Hill Street Blues, and its forgotten fish out of water comedy spin-off Beverly Hills Bunce. As Sipowicz, Franz scored 4 Emmys and one memorable nude shower scene. Following NYPD Blue's final season, Franz left showbiz to focus on a quiet life that presumably doesn't involve smacking suspects with phone books. He resurfaced at the 2016 Emmys, reuniting with former co-star Jimmy Smits to the delight of fans. Maybe it's time for Netflix to greenlight Sipowicz, the frickin' golden years. Jimmy Smits. LA Law star Jimmy Smits joined the cast of NYPD Blue in Season 2 as Sipowicz's partner Bobby Simone after Caruso's John Kelly resigned from the force. Simone's tragic death from a heart condition made for one of the most moving episodes of the series. Smits, on the other hand, is alive and well, and recently appeared as Senator Donovan on 24 Legacy. Smits also had memorable runs on shows like The West Wing, Sons of Anarchy, and Dexter. He also returned to the character he played in the Star Wars prequels, Senator Bail Organa, for 2016's hit film Rogue One. But the best role he's ever played? Johnny Wilson, Conky Repairman on Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Johnny Wilson, authorized Conky Repairman at your service, Miss...
Yvonne.
Is
that a wrench in your pocket?
Ah, that's a wrench. Thank you very much.
Kim Delaney. Actress Kim Delaney brought grit to the role of Detective Diane Russell, whose battles with alcoholism and tumultuous relationships with fellow cops made for some juicy storylines. The part earned Delaney an Emmy for Best Supporting Actress. After leaving Blue, Delaney took the lead role on Stephen Bochco's short-lived legal drama Philly and had a brief run opposite David Caruso on CSI Miami. Following 6 seasons on the Lifetime series Army Wives, Delaney again reunited with Bochco for a role on his TNT series Murder in the First. Mark Paul Gosselaar. Fans were surprised when Zach Morris himself, Mark Paul Gosselaar, joined NYPD Blue in Season 9 as a replacement for departed cast member Rick Schroeder. Gosselaar's Detective John Clark held his own opposite the cast and remained with the show until it came to an end in 2005. Who knew Gosselaar would prove to be the best actor among the Bayside bunch? With roles on everything from Franklin and Bash to the Fox baseball series Pitch, Gosselaar has remained a reliable presence on the small screen. He also relived his giant cell phone toting days in a Saved by the Bell reunion on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Gordon Clapp. With his constant motor mouth and awkward demeanor, Detective Greg Medavoy brought comic relief to the 15th Precinct. A regular on NYPD Blue throughout its entire run, Medavoy grew to be a fan favorite and an Emmy winner. Gordon Clapp continues to work in theater, earning a Tony nomination for Glengarry Glen Ross on Broadway and on shows like Damages and Elementary. These days, he has a recurring role as Chaplain Orlovsky on Chicago Fire. Nicholas Turturro. John Turturro's younger brother made a name for himself on NYPD Blue, scoring an Emmy nomination for his role as Detective James Martinez. Martinez was a crucial part of the squad before being promoted to sergeant in Season 7 and saying goodbye to the 15th Precinct. Turturro returned to the Blue Brotherhood for his role as Sergeant Renzulli on CBS's Blue Bloods, and his voice can be heard as the ghostly superhero Deadman in the Justice League Dark animated movie.
That man's heard of me. Sweet. Tell him I'm a fan of his too.
He also showed off his comedic chops in films like Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 and Bucky Larson Born to be a Star. James McDaniel. As Lieutenant Arthur Fancy, James McDaniel held the 15th Precinct together with his calm yet commanding presence, eventually being promoted to captain. McDaniel left the show after season 8, and while the Precinct had other captains, they don't hold a candle to McDaniel. With a deep resume that includes theatrical productions in films like Malcolm X and TV shows like Sleepy Hollow and The Good Wife, McDaniel has kept busy since hanging up his gun and shield. He also has the dubious distinction of having starred on Stephen Bochco's infamous musical police procedural Cop Rock. And rock it did not. Henry Simmons. Joining Blue in its 7th season as Medavoy's new partner Baldwin Jones, Henry Simmons was one half of a formidable team with Jones's intensity and Medavoy's persistence working in tandem to get confessions out of Skells. Simmons is currently part of the Marvel TV universe as Mac on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You may have also caught him on shows like Ravenswood and Man Up. Bill Brochtrup. As PAA Upstairs John Irvin, Bill Brochtrup brought heart, diversity, and subtle humor to what could have been a thankless, forgettable role. Prior to Blue, Brochtrup was a regular on Stephen Bochco shows like Total Security and the doomed cop comedy Public Morals. These days, Brochtrup keeps busy in the theater world and brings the same sensitivity he brought to John to his role as psychologist Dr. Bowman on TNT's Major Crimes. Sharon Lawrence. ADA Sylvia Costas was on the receiving end of one of Sipowicz's most memorably profane rants in the pilot episode of NYPD Blue, but she eventually fell for his gruff charms and married the old lug. Her murder during season 6 left Sipowicz to raise their infant son alone. Actress Sharon Lawrence, who scored 3 Emmy nominations for her role, left the series in 1996 to co-star with Leah Remini on the short-lived NBC sitcom Fired Up. A TV vet, she's had memorable roles on shows like Desperate Housewives, Grey's Anatomy, and Shameless. Charlotte Ross. Prior to NYPD Blue, Charlotte Ross cut her teeth in the soap opera world and starred on the short-lived Fox musical drama The Heights. She joined the cop drama in 2001 and made a splash when her character, Detective Connie McDowell, appeared partially nude in a controversial 2004 episode. The sweet-natured McDowell would eventually melt grumpy old Sipowicz's heart, and the pair married and raised kids in the show's later seasons. Ross has kept busy on television since Blue ended, with turns on shows like Glee and Nashville. Arrow fans will recognize her as Felicity Smoak's brassy mom Donna on the hit CW superhero show. Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel, plus check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.